Who's a funny boy? You are. Yes, you are. An elven slave? Maker's breath, I hope you know what you're doing.
Greetings, mistress. Your home was difficult to find. I've never been out on my own before, but I found it. Many people know of you. I hope I've made myself useful. I've already begun cleaning and I can cook. Not as good as Papa, but a little. Is there anything else you'd like me to do?
You've been through a great deal. How are you feeling?
I miss Papa, the other servants. I try not to think about what happened. I even feel sorry for the Magister. Is that bad?
I'm sure Hadriana was very thankful for such loyalty.
I suppose she was. I'll serve you just as well, mistress. You'll see.
What sort of skills do you have?
Not many, I fear. The Magister bade me to clean, and sometimes fetch, but Papa told me to keep out of her sight as much as I could. But I can learn. I'll serve you well. Please don't hurt me.
If you're staying here, Orana, it will be as my servant.
You mean, I won't be a slave anymore?
You'll be paid, like anyone else.
A slave is all I've ever been, like Papa and Grandpapa before me. I'll try to be a good servant. Thank you, mistress. You're too good to me. This place isn't like home at all. Minrathous was so noisy.
Quite a lovely estate you have here. Isn't that right, Sandal?
I'm sorry I broke it.
Yes. Well, we'll get that replaced right away. Sorry about that. Boom! Ah, there he goes again. How he makes these things, I'll never know.
I've never seen another dwarf like him. Does this run in your family?
Not at all, but Sandal isn't really my son. I found him in the deep roads when I left Orzammar for good. Raised him as my own now. Isn't that right, my boy?
I like Bodan.
He's always been this way. Always collecting things and enchanting them. Strange, I suppose.
Have you ever thought of finding out more?
Well, I did. I brought him to the Circle of Magi about a year after we got to the surface. They called him a savant, but then they started giving him the eye like they were going to keep him, so we left. Not going back to those vultures. Sandal's happy as he is.
Perhaps he'll be the first Dwarven mage. Wouldn't that be interesting?
I don't know. The actual mages don't do enchanting, do they? Just the ones who had their magic taken away.
Tranquil.
Yes, them. Ugh.
It's very shiny.
There's an elven woman here, Messere. She claims she was sent here by you. I didn't know what to tell her.
I have something for you.
It's a book.
It's a subject you're familiar with. The book is by Shartan, the elf who helped Andraste free the slaves. You know about him, right?
A little. It's just... slaves are not permitted to read. I've never learned.
It's not too late to learn, Fenris.
Isn't it? Sometimes I wonder. I don't mean to seem ungrateful. I do appreciate the thought. I've always wanted to learn more of Shartan. Perhaps this is my chance.
Kirkwall I feel safe.
I brought you something. It's shiny and subversive. I thought you'd like it.
You got me a gift? I hardly think I've done anything to deserve that. Is it a... That's a Tevinter Chantry amulet. Do you want me to get executed? It's sacrilege to wear those in any land under the Divine.
The Divine condemned their chantry because it freed mages from the Circle. I thought you might sympathize.
I like it. Maybe not on the outside of my clothes. I'm not that eager to face the hangman's noose. But I appreciate the thought. I've never really thought about what life would be like in the Tevinter Chantry. In the Circle, they make it sound like the Void itself. The Black Divine stalking Thedas, making it unsafe for kittens and virgins.
I haven't noticed too many of either in Kirkwall.
And fewer every day, I suspect. I appreciate the gift. Perhaps one day I can return one as meaningful.
You're selling the assets of Javaris Tintov?
We are. Limited districts, limited contracts. Keeps territory clear and separate from the start. He had a meager lot, but he's skipped with dues outstanding, so up it goes.
Sounds like he's made a few friends. Can one of them point me his way?
Ask that about anyone else, I'd have you thrown out. This one, he owes me too. Javaris left in a hurry. I'd put him at Smuggler's Cut if he's avoiding patrols. It empties at a cave outside town. Tell him I said, don't come back.
Javaris doesn't exactly sound like a mastermind at work.
Javaris tin topper up for grabs.
Do you have coin to spare, Messer? My children are starving.
I hope this helps.
Thank you. Make a smile on you. Anders, is there a reason, or is it one of your moods?
Your term as captain hasn't been particularly mage-friendly.
I've only turned a handful over to the Templars.
Every despot starts somewhere.
And yet I allow an abomination to whine at me. Credit where it's due. Two people, Anders and Justice.
That's not strictly accurate.
But you are of two minds.
Many people are.
Now you're the one not being accurate.
I thought those were the rules of this game.
I never know who I'm talking to with you.
Doesn't occur often.
I just need a destination. Where are we sending it?
The Viscount will not store raw lyrium in the keep.
Then where do I put it?
A veteran of the Deep Road.
That's your problem.
Flaming Puritan.
Please do not bother the recruits.
Message for you.
About bloody time. We'll deliver the cargo soon as we've unloaded the Antivan Queen.
It's not...
Yes, they found us. I'm sure you're not surprised. After you turned us loose with no aid, no food, only a moment's head start. Where else could we end up?
Escaped the fire in Starkhaven.
You're looking well. My store is much better stocked, thanks to you. If you're interested in hunting down more ingredients, I can make other creations. And of course, I'll pay you for your work.
Sure. Just let me know what you need.
Perfect. I have a list of ingredients right here.
Please do not stay. Merchandise. I will be beaten if you
Let's finish this! Let's finish this!
They got Grace and the others.
We have no scheduled appointment.
Hello, Emmerich. The guard captain says you're still chasing disappearing acts.
That's not funny. I need your help urgently. I've spent the past few years continuing my investigation into the murders of Ninette, Marin, and the other women. I believe I finally have a suspect. A man called Gascard Dupuis.
Dupuis? That's a funny name.
It's Olesian. I believe he is descended from nobility. When I became convinced of his guilt, I went to the city guard and demanded that they do something.
My men raided that house. There was nothing, and I've heard no end because of it. You were reprimanded, I hope?
Meredith forbade me from continuing my investigation. But she didn't say I couldn't seek outside help.
I retrieved a sack of human remains for you. Didn't you show it to the guard?
I did. They said the remains could have been gathered together by scavengers looking for bits of gold and jewelry. They said there was no way to tell if the remains even belonged to the missing women.
I'm sorry, Emmerich, but that's the truth of it.
Were you the only person investigating these murders?
Yes, unfortunately. The Templar Order believes this is a matter for the City Guard. And the City Guard, well, they rejected my evidence and dismissed the murders as isolated incidents. They don't care either.
I've seen your evidence. Scattered notes, conjecture, nothing remotely usable. You can't expect us to act on your hunches alone. Look what happened when we did.
The guards who searched Gascard's place were incompetent. They didn't know what they were looking for.
Fine, if you insist.
What have you learned about Gascard Dupuis?
He's a reclusive nobleman who's rarely seen outside his estate in Hightown. He knew 2 of the murdered women and made inquiries about the others. It cannot be a coincidence.
It cannot be a coincidence. It sounds exactly like a coincidence.
Gascard Dupuis is hiding something. I'm convinced of it.
And I'm supposed to be the outside help.
My hands are tied. I can't do this on my own. What if one of the women who died was someone you loved? If Gascard Dupuis is guilty, he must be stopped before he kills again.
Then we will investigate Dupuis, if only to put this to rest.
If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. At least I'll know for sure.
Why is it always Hawk to the rescue?
I can't really answer that. You'll need to go to Gascard Dupuy's estate after nightfall. Please figure out what Dupuy is hiding. If he's innocent, find evidence to prove me wrong. It's just that simple.
Veteran of the deep roads right there, ladies and gentlemen.